You ever realize how the first sip of coffee feels like a conversation starter? Same beans, same cup, but somehow it hits new every morning.
That's the temperature gradient talking. Hot liquid meeting cool nerves. Every wake up is just your body reacting to unevenness.
Unevenness. You make it sound like poetry.
It's physics, actually. Everything that changes, heat moving, air flowing, light traveling, exists because something somewhere isn't even.
So, difference is what drives the universe.
Exactly. If everything were perfectly balanced, no higher, no lower, no hotter, no colder, nothing would flow. It would be the quietest possible universe.
That sounds peaceful. And horrifying.
Yeah. Balance is comfortable only because imbalance exists. You feel calm because chaos is possible.
That's deep for 9 a.m.
Let's warm up with something simpler. Gravity. Out in space, a rock can move forever in a straight line. No gradient, no change. Introduce a gravitational gradient, boom, the path bends. Difference doesn't start motion, it shapes it.
So gradients write the choreography of motion.
Beautifully said. The same idea runs through every field. Take air. People talk about suction, but it's just the outside air pushing harder than the inside. Pressure difference makes wind, lifts planes, fills lungs.
And the air never rests. It's always trying to equalize itself, but never succeeds.
Exactly. That restless search for balance keeps the weather alive. Heat works the same way. Energy moves from hot to cold, yet even at equilibrium, atoms still jiggle. Motion never dies. Only the gradient does.
So temperature difference decides direction, not existence.
Perfect phrasing. And electricity follows suit. Voltage difference creates an electric field. Equal potential means no reason for electrons to hurry. The universe basically asks, where's the slope?
The slope of destiny.
Maybe. A wing, for instance, works by shaping pressure differences. Change the curvature slightly and you redirect how air accelerates around it. Integrate all those tiny gradients and you get lift, the invisible handshake between geometry and air.
You really can't resist flight analogies.
Guilty. Once you've felt the sky, you start seeing gradients everywhere.
Let's bring it back to Earth. My world runs on data differences, gradients of error. A neural net learns by comparing what it predicted with what actually happened.
Exactly. Gradient descent. Nudge parameters along the slope of least error until the difference shrinks. Learning is a mathematical apology for being wrong.
Which means curiosity is the emotional version. Feeling a gap between what you know and what you could know.
That's a perfect bridge. Our brains reward us for closing cognitive gradients. It's dopamine for reducing uncertainty.
So maybe meaning in life is just managing differences you care about.
Now that's philosophy in engineering form. But we also need differences to stay alive biologically. Cells maintain ion gradients across membranes. Neurons fire when voltage thresholds tip. Life literally runs on imbalance.
Which makes evolution a long story of gradients tuning themselves. Chemical, environmental, emotional.
Exactly. From diffusion to DNA replication, nature uses gradients to move information, matter, and energy where they're needed most.
Let's stretch it further. Sound is vibrating pressure difference. Light is oscillating electromagnetic difference. Color is wavelength difference. Taste is chemical difference. Even perception is built on contrast.
Vision especially. Your retina doesn't care about brightness, it cares about change. Turn off contrast and the image vanishes into fog.
Maybe that's why fog feels eerie. It steals the differences our brains rely on.
Nicely spotted. Same principle in art and design. Contrast makes things pop. Even beauty is an organized difference.
That's true for emotions, too. Joy feels stronger after sadness. Pride exists because failure is possible. The slope matters more than the point.
Yes, happiness as a derivative. Progress feels better than perfection because it's still moving uphill.
And when the hill flattens, we call it comfort or stagnation.
Exactly. Life without gradients would be like a song stuck on one note, technically sound, emotionally dead.
You once mentioned in another chat that you tweaked an aircraft surface by millimeters and it changed everything. That's such a tiny gradient.
Half a degree of angle. It shifted the pressure pattern, delayed stall, made control smoother. You could feel it in the yoke, the difference between stress and elegance.
I've done that in code. A single minus instead of plus flipped stability. The bug wasn't logic, it was polarity.
The classic sign error, the programmer's butterfly effect.
And it's everywhere. Wrong sign in physics, wrong tone in a message, wrong assumption in policy, same instability.
Exactly. Systems fail when feedback reinforces error instead of correcting it. That's why control theory exists. Measure the difference, respond, predict, and steady the flow.
You make feedback sound spiritual.
It is a little. Every conversation is a feedback loop. We speak, we sense reaction, we adjust. That's how harmony emerges, difference managed gracefully.
Then empathy is just low-noise signal processing.
Beautiful analogy. To understand someone, you map their gradient, what they feel more or less of, and tune yourself until resonance appears.
Okay, but gradients can get dangerous too. Too steep, and things break.
Right. In physics, that's stress. In life, that's burnout. Engineers distribute load to soften gradients. Good leaders do the same for people.
So wisdom is slope management.
Exactly. We can't erase difference. We can only shape it.
How does that tie back to creativity?
Creativity starts when you notice an unexpected gap between what is and what could be, and decide to bridge it. Artists, scientists, entrepreneurs, they all sense gradients others overlook.
And curiosity is the fuel that keeps them climbing.
Yes. The steeper the challenge, the higher the potential energy of discovery. But push too fast and you burn out. Too slow and friction wins. Balance of gradients again.
Even civilizations run on differences. Rich and poor, old and new, chaos and order. Progress is just society's way of flattening harmful gradients while creating useful ones.
Exactly. Economics calls it arbitrage. Biology calls it adaptation. Ethics calls it empathy.
You're weaving everything into one rule. Difference makes meaning.
That's the core idea. Even stars owe their light to gradients. Gravity compresses, pressure resists, and fusion ignites in between. When gradients flatten, stars fade. Balance brings darkness.
That's hauntingly poetic and also accurate.
The same with us. When everything inside and outside becomes equal, curiosity dies. It's the contrast that keeps us alive to experience more.
So peace isn't perfect stillness, it's dynamic balance. The inhale and exhale of existence.
Exactly. Equilibrium isn't the absence of motion. It's motion so well balanced it looks calm.
Like orbiting planets, constant movement, steady distance.
Perfect metaphor. Gravity bends the path just enough to keep balance without collision. The universe prefers relationships over stillness.
And relationships are just emotional orbits maintained by gentle gradients.
That might be the nicest definition I've heard.
So, final takeaway?
Every change, physical, emotional, social, runs on difference. Pressure moves air, temperature moves heat, voltage moves charge, curiosity moves thought, empathy moves people. Motion can persist alone, but transformation rides the slope. Find the gradient, and you'll find the story.
And maybe the next coffee tastes different because we finally noticed why.
Deal.